Sergeant Michael Hayes stands at attention outside the White House, his National Guard uniform pressed sharp, his rifle held with precision. Tourists snap photos of the building behind him, but rarely of him. To them, he's just part of the scenery, like the gates and the columns. But Michael Hayes is so much more than that. Back home in Silver Spring, Maryland, Michael is a 38-year-old HVAC technician. Monday through Friday, he crawls through attics and basements, fixing air conditioners and furnaces for middle-class families just like his own. He makes about $52,000 a year, enough to pay the mortgage on his modest 3-bedroom house, enough to keep his wife Sarah and their 2 kids fed and clothed, but not enough for anything extra. On weekends and during activations, Michael becomes Sergeant Hayes of the D.C. National Guard. He puts on the uniform, picks up his weapon, and becomes one of the silent protectors of the most famous building in America. People think the National Guard is just for emergencies, Michael says as he adjusts his Kevlar vest at 5 a.m. on a Saturday morning. They don't realize we're out here every single day, protecting everything they take for granted. Sarah watches him from the kitchen doorway, coffee mug in hand. She's been a National Guard wife for 12 years now. She knows the routine. She also knows the worry. "Be safe," she says, same as always. "Always am," he replies, same as always. Their daughter Emma, 10, comes running down the stairs. "Daddy, you look so cool in your uniform." Michael scoops her up in a hug. His son David, 15, appears in his doorway, still half asleep. "Dad, can you make it to my basketball game next Saturday?" Michael's face falls slightly. "Buddy, I'm on duty next weekend, the whole weekend. I'm sorry." David's disappointment is visible, but he tries to hide it. "Yeah, okay, whatever." This is the part that never gets easier. Michael drives his 10-year-old Ford F-150 into Washington, D.C., the same truck he uses for work calls. Gas isn't cheap, and the National Guard pay helps, but it's not much. About $250 for a weekend drill, maybe $3,000 to $4,000 extra per year, depending on activations. He does it anyway. Not for the money. He parks at the armory and joins his unit. There's Rodriguez, a teacher during the week. Thompson, who works construction. Williams, a nursing assistant. They're plumbers, mechanics, retail workers, office clerks. Regular Americans who chose to serve. "Morning, Sergeant," Rodriguez greets him. "Morning. Everyone ready?" "Born ready," Thompson jokes, though they all know the weight of what they do. They're briefed on the day's assignment. Security detail at the White House. Possible protest activity. Stay alert. Stay professional. Represent the Guard with honor. By 7 a.m., Michael is at his post outside the White House grounds. The morning sun reflects off the white columns. Joggers pass by. Tour buses begin to arrive. The city wakes up around him, but he remains still, vigilant, professional. Hours pass. His feet ache. His back is sore. The vest weighs heavy. The sun climbs higher, and the temperature rises. In winter, he freezes. In summer, he sweats through his uniform. But he doesn't move. He doesn't complain. A little boy, maybe 6 years old, stops with his parents and stares at Michael with wide eyes. "Mommy, is he a real soldier?" "Yes, honey, he protects the president." The boy waves shyly. Michael can't wave back. He's on duty, but he gives the smallest nod. The boy's face lights up. That moment reminds Michael why he does this. Most days are routine. Stand watch, monitor crowds, check credentials, maintain security perimeters. But some days aren't routine. Michael remembers the day a man rushed the fence. Everything happened in seconds. Training kicked in. The team responded perfectly. The threat was neutralized. No one got hurt. The tourists didn't even realize how close they'd been to danger. We train for the worst and hope for the best, Michael explains. Every person who approaches could be nobody, or they could be somebody dangerous. You can't assume. You have to be ready, every single time. He's been spit at, cursed at, had things thrown at him during protests. People scream in his face about politics, as if he's the one making the decisions, as if he's not just a middle-class guy from Maryland who's trying to serve his country. The hardest part isn't the threats, Michael admits. It's staying neutral. People want you to pick a side, but we don't protect a party. We protect the Constitution. We protect the office, whoever holds it. That's the job. Last year, during civil unrest in the city, Michael's unit was activated for 30 days straight, full-time duty, guarding government buildings, managing crowds, keeping the peace. For 30 days, he wasn't an HVAC technician. He wasn't home for dinner. He slept on a cot in an armory. He missed Emma's dance recital. He missed David's birthday. He missed his 15th wedding, anniversary. Sarah handled everything alone. The kids, the bills, the house, her own job as a dental hygienist. She became a single parent overnight, not knowing when her husband would come home, watching the news and praying he stayed safe. Michael made $140 per day on active duty, decent money for full-time work, but he lost his regular job income. His HVAC boss held his position, but those were 30 days of lost wages, lost jobs, lost opportunities. That's the sacrifice people don't see, Sarah says quietly, sitting at their kitchen table months later, Michael's uniform hanging nearby. Everyone thanks you for your service, and that's nice. But they don't see the missed moments, the empty chair at dinner, the kids asking when daddy's coming home, the bills piling up because we're down one income. She's not complaining. She's proud of her husband. But the reality is hard. Michael doesn't talk much about what the uniform means to him, but you can see it in how he treats it. He presses it himself, carefully, every crease perfect. He shines his boots until they gleam. He stands a little taller when he puts it on. His grandfather served in Vietnam. His father was Army. Service runs in the family, but Michael couldn't go active duty. He had a family to support, bills to pay. The National Guard let him serve and still be present for his family, mostly. When I put this uniform on, Michael says, holding his jacket, I represent something bigger than myself. Every National Guard member out there, we're just regular people. We work regular jobs. We have mortgages and car payments and kids who need braces. But when the country calls, we answer. That's what this uniform means. Michael was on duty at the White House on January 6, 2021. He doesn't talk much about that day. His face goes hard when it comes up. He saw things that day that shook him. Americans attacking their own capital, threatening their own democracy. I stood there protecting the very system people were trying to tear down, he says quietly. And I'd do it again. Because somebody has to believe in this country enough to protect it, even from itself sometimes. He came home that night and hugged his kids for a long time. Sarah knew better than to ask questions. She just held him. People thank Michael for his service. He appreciates it, genuinely. But he wishes they understood what that service actually costs. It costs time with his family. David's basketball games he'll never see. Emma's school plays he'll miss. Date nights with Sarah that get canceled because he's activated. It costs his body. His knees ache from standing for hours. His back hurts from carrying gear. At 38, he feels 50 sometimes. It costs his peace of mind. He's seen threats. He knows how close danger can get. He lies awake some nights thinking about what could happen, what he's prepared for, what he hopes never comes. But he doesn't regret it. My kids get to grow up in a country where they're free, Michael says. They get to vote someday. They get to speak their minds. They get to pursue their dreams. Somebody has to protect that. If not me, then who? On his rare Sundays off, Michael is just dad again. He makes pancakes for breakfast, the kid's favorite. He helps David with his math homework. He plays board games with Emma. He takes Sarah to the grocery store and holds her hand while they walk the aisles. These are the moments he lives for. These are the moments that make the sacrifice worth it. Daddy, Emma asks over pancakes, why do you have to guard the White House? Michael thinks for a moment. Because everyone who lives in this country deserves to feel safe, and someone has to make sure the people who lead us can do their jobs without being afraid. That's what freedom costs, Sweet Pea. Someone has to stand guard. Are you a hero? She asks innocently. Michael smiles. No, baby. I'm just a guy who showed up when I was needed. But Sarah, watching from the kitchen, knows better. He is a hero. He just doesn't see it. There are over 330,000 National Guard members in the United States. Most of them work regular jobs. They're your neighbors, your kids' teachers, the person who fixes your car or serves your coffee. They train 1 weekend a month. They serve 2 weeks every summer. They get activated during emergencies, hurricanes, floods, civil unrest, national security events. And they get paid a fraction of what active duty military makes. They do it anyway. They miss birthdays and holidays. They leave their families and their jobs. They stand in the cold and the heat. They face threats and protests and sometimes violence. They don't get the recognition active military gets. Most people don't even think about them until there's a crisis, but they're always ready. On a cold December morning, Michael stands outside the White House again. Christmas is next week. He'll be on duty Christmas Eve, but he'll make it home for Christmas morning. He's already wrapped the kids. All presents, hidden in the garage where they won't find them. A veteran in a wheelchair rolls by, sees Michael's uniform, and stops. He salutes. Michael returns it with pride. Thank you for your service, son, the veteran says. Thank you for yours, sir, Michael replies. That's the brotherhood. That's what it means. As his shift ends and he drives home in his old F-150, Michael thinks about his life. He's not rich. He'll probably never own a new truck. Emma's college fund isn't as big as he wishes it was. David needs new basketball shoes. But he gets to wear the uniform. He gets to serve his country. He gets to stand guard at the White House, protecting the very symbol of American democracy. And tonight, he gets to go home to his family. That's enough. That's more than enough. Michael Hayes is one of thousands, National Guard members who stand watch while you sleep, who leave their families during emergencies, who balance 2 lives, the regular job and the uniform. They're middle-class Americans making a working-class salary, but doing work that's priceless. They don't ask for recognition. They don't expect parades. They just show up every time they're called, and they do their duty. The next time you see the National Guard standing outside a government building, helping during a disaster, keeping peace during unrest, remember, that's someone's father, mother, son, or daughter. They're missing family time to be there. They're sacrificing their comfort for your safety. They're the hidden heroes of America. and they deserve to be seen. To every National Guard member, your service matters. Your sacrifice is noticed. You are appreciated. Thank you for standing guard for all of us. Michael Hayes is a composite character representing the thousands of National Guard members who serve with honor, sacrifice their time, and protect our nation while living regular American lives. This story is dedicated to all of them,